Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be looking at Dawn Smyth and if she played any kind of role in the John George murder. Also, is there actually enough evidence to show that Johnny Smyth was the person who committed this murder, along with Michael Malley? So let's take a look at Hayley Comet's most recent live that she did on TikTok, because she says that there is enough background evidence to suggest that Johnny did commit this murder.
Know when you hear people say, allegedly, what they actually mean is, I'm a wimp, right? That's what they mean. I'm going to say something to you, but it's not true, so I'm going to add allegedly. So if it ever comes back in court, I can say, but I said allegedly. That's why people use allegedly. Like, I don't, there's enough information, enough evidence behind the scene to say 100% there was 3 or 4 people there that day that John George died, and Michael Malley and Johnny Smyth, sorry, were doing the killing. Like, that's it. Like, so Dawn can say all she wants, but you still don't forgive her. Damn, I wouldn't forgive her if she's dressed like that. She's dressed like Live Clips, fucking 4 Adidas tracky. She's probably and Minnie Mouse trainers, exactly like Live Clip. Also, Dawn is now telling people that that she has a solicitor involved who is telling Johnny Smyth to stay in hiding. I don't know what kind of solicitor this is, where the fuck she got this Donald Duck lawyer from, but who's going to tell her, someone who's got the Interpol actively seeking them, just stay hidden, mate, just stay hidden. They are going to be making phone calls to Interpol saying, look, we're willing to talk to you, we're willing to do a phone interview, like he's going to tell you everything he knows.
So Hayley says that there is enough background evidence to prove that Johnny Smyth committed this murder along with Michael Malley, and that there were at least 3 or 4 people there when John George was attacked. She also mentions that using the word allegedly is for wimps, but you have to use the word allegedly if you can't 100% prove that what you're saying is facts. Now, I don't know the exact information that Hayley knows, but if she can say who the killers are and be so confident with what she's saying, then she must know something. And I'm not talking about what Dan McMeekin has told her, because if Dan has told her this information and says that Johnny Smyth was the person who committed this murder, then that's still not good enough evidence to say that Johnny definitely did this, because Dan could easily be lying. I'm not saying that I don't think Johnny is responsible, because I do think that, but it's my opinion, and I can't say that it's definitely true, because I don't know that for sure. So Hayley must have evidence to support what she's saying. She also talks about Johnny being wanted by Interpol, so this is her basically saying that the arrest warrants are for Johnny Smyth. The reasons why I think Johnny is responsible is because he was posting on social media a lot, and now he hasn't posted at all. Also, he hasn't spoken out about John George to clear his name, so that would suggest that he's hiding and doesn't want to be found. Also, if Dawn is claiming that Johnny's solicitor has told him to stay in hiding, then that doesn't add up at all, because why would his solicitor tell him that if he isn't involved? Hayley also has some questions for Dawn Smyth, so let's see what she has to say.
Multiple comments across multiple videos, and obviously TikTok doesn't let me respond to all of the questions. Like, you only get so much, or sometimes they just won't let the comment go through. So firstly, I would say if it was a normal situation and your son is the age that he is and he did something awful, it'd be completely out of your control. I get that, he doesn't live at home. But the fact of the matter is that you went over to Alicante on the day after John George had died, and we know through witnesses that it was spoken about in front of you what had happened. So we do know that you knew, as did the grandfather, exactly what had taken place. And I would imagine if you were over there the day after, that you were part of some kind of clean-up crew, whether that be keeping people quiet, whether that be evidence, blood, etc. Now, we also know that Dan was horrifically beaten up by Johnny in your company, and you helped clean Dan up before he went to the hospital. So I would say that you had some ownership there as well. Now, we also know that Johnny and Madison could not stay on the run without financial help, and all signs point to that being from you. Now, you also said on one of Duncan Smith's videos that a solicitor had advised Jonny just to stay where he was, but yet he's not working with the authorities, and I don't know any solicitor that would tell him not to clear up what had happened, especially if he wasn't involved like you say he's not.
So let's just clear up what Dawn said about Johnny's solicitor telling him to stay where he is. This is the comment that Dawn Smyth posted where she talks about Johnny's solicitor. Dawn says that Johnny's solicitor is telling him to stay where he is. And in another comment, Dawn says that she doesn't know where Jonny is because he won't tell her. This doesn't look like something an innocent person would do at all. We have already looked into when Dawn actually went to Alicante in a previous video, and for Hayley to say that Dawn is involved in cleaning up the murder means that she must have evidence to prove what she's saying is true.
Now, one of the main questions I would have is, Jonny seemed to be having quite a nice life at the time that John George was killed. He had the apartment, the dogs, he had his relationship with Madison, he was just about to open the cannabis cafe, which he'd put a lot of time into. He had jet skis, he had motorbikes, nice cars. So why would he flee if this had nothing to do with him? Why would he give up that good living and the life he was putting all over Instagram if he had nothing to do with what happened to John George? Now, you say he wasn't the last person to see John George, and that is half true, because the reason he's not the last person to see John George because somebody moved John's body after the fact. So obviously that person would be the last person to see John George, right? But he was the last person to see John George alive. And again, the reason why you have received much hate online, Dawn, from a lot of people, not just the family, is because of the mind games that you've played throughout this case, along with Madison, along with Jonny, of giving the family certain areas to search. And I remember the day of the search when you contacted Darren and said, I'm going to get back to you with a map of where you can find the body, and then sent them like a map almost the size of the whole of Alicante. It's just always games. You're messaging different people saying how the only person who's shown any kind of decorum has been John George's mum, because she is obviously hurting so much she's not very vocal on social media. What kind of comment is that? The family are grieving, they're hurt, they're trying to get justice. So yes, they're being loud, and why shouldn't they be? They want to know what happened to their son and their brother. It's my experience through looking into thousands of crimes that people with nothing to hide don't hide, and innocent people don't run. And that's without me putting out all the other information that I can't talk about online because it would affect an upcoming court case, which you would know about and I know about, which absolutely points to the fact that it was your son that took the life of John George. And I just think, in the grand scheme of things, you should be showing empathy and compassion towards his family, because it was your blood that took their blood. You know, I can't put myself in your shoes because I'm not a mother of a murderer, but at the same time, I know that if my children ever did something like that, I would A, make them face up to the consequences, B, I would be so full of remorse that somebody that I had raised had been capable of doing that. I would never play the mind games that you have. And you've ran around online, you've said the worst things about this family. What you said about Darren was absolutely, truly unforgivable. You knew it wasn't true. And I just think people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
So Hayley says that she has voice notes and information that she can't put out because it would affect an upcoming court case. That means that when Hayley talks about the suspects and how Jonny is responsible for the murder of John George, she clearly has information about what happened, and that's why she doesn't say allegedly, because she knows more than the public do. I just hope the information that Hayley has is factual and isn't just lies that she's been told, because for her to talk so confidently about the John George case, it means that she must have something that proves what she's saying in her videos is the truth, and we need the truth for there to be justice. Also, it was reported that the George family are going out to Spain to try and get some answers and see what's actually going on with this investigation, So hopefully we will see some justice soon. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will update you as we find out more.